Hi everyone, welcome back to another video presentation. We are looking at the topic digital tools, and our digital tool that we're focusing on for this session is one called Symbaloo. Symbaloo is a cloud-based or an online-based platform where we are able to organize our links. So it would work as a browser, and it enables us to have a variety of links stored in one location instead of having to go to different platforms to access those links. So it works similar to how we have our mobile applications, where we have a number of them on a particular screen, or even on our desktop devices where we have multiple applications on our desktop. That is a similar pattern in which the Symbaloo platform works. Another advantage of this platform is that it enables, especially for educators, it enables them to utilize the platform to enhance their lesson delivery, as well as the activities that they utilize to get their students engaged. So we will be looking at some of the associated features with this platform as we go along. All right, I'm currently using my Google Chrome browser, and I want to proceed now to the URL for the Symbaloo. So I'm just going to go ahead and enter that. So it's symbaloo.com, and then I enter to proceed to the page. Once I select the enter to get onto the page, then I am able to see the home page, and on the home page I am produced with a number of links that are organized in a very unique way or easily accessible way. And as a result, there are some predefined links that are here, but you can also go ahead and include your own. All right, we are provided with a platform that has the tour pop-up. So a tour pop-up normally comes on once we enter the platform, I believe for the first time. I'm gonna skip the tour here, and then we of course have some ads coming through the platform, because a platform allows for different ads to be broadcasted on their platform. But nevertheless, we're just gonna proceed to utilize the platform as best as we are able to. All right, from this point, we want to ensure that we have access to an account. So it can be that we're signing up for the very first time if we're new to the platform, or if we already have an account, then we would proceed to the login. In my case, I'm going to proceed to sign up, and then I'm going to be following a few steps here to get my account up and running. All right, we have three options. Two of them are pro, meaning that we would have to pay for those in order to get some additional things. So I will just resort to the personal, which is the free one, and I'll select the button that says get started. Once I select that, I am directed to a login page where I am expected to either sign up through social media, Facebook account, or a Google account, Gmail account, or I would just enter the email address directly. In this case, I could either enter the email, or I could just automatically utilize a Google account here. So I'll just proceed to click on the button. I believe there are other options here using this icon. So we have other platforms. Let me just return. We have other platforms that we can use in order to sign up for the account. All right, so in this case, I'll just use my current Google account just to get me logged in ample time. All right, following that, I use the button to sign in, and I am now presented with a screen that is asking me what is it that I plan to use a Symbaloo application for. In this case, I could go ahead and indicate for education, and then it would give me some tips here. So I'll just close the box because I'm not needing this, but you can read that for your personal purposes. All right, again, I have a lot of ads coming through based on what the platform decides to push, so bear those in mind. All right, the next thing that we want to do at this point, we want to access what we know as a learning path. Because my account is new and I have not created a learning path before, right? I will proceed to the top right that has a setting, or it also shows your account name. And once we click on that, we see a variety of options. The one that we want to choose is the Symbaloo Learning Paths. All right, so the Symbaloo Learning Path, this enables us to organize some set of information for our students to utilize, or whoever our audience is. We can be able to gather the resources and have them in one set location, and then these persons will interact with the platform in order to access what is it that we wanted them to access in this case. All right, so I clicked on my account and I clicked on the Symbaloo Learning Path, and it brought me to this screen. So the only thing that I want to pay attention to at this time is to click on the button that says create fun and interactive learning paths. All right, so I'm clicking on that, and it should take me to a screen that is requesting authorization to bring me to the next page to start the learning path. So I have two options. I can deny or allow. Because I want to access the platform, I'm going to select allow. And again, I'm brought to another page. This page allows for some display to take place, and in this I am given the ability to create a learning path, and I can find this on the right hand side of my screen here. Once I click on that, then I am redirected to the part that contains the learning path. All right, the first thing that they're asking us on this section is for us to enter a title based, or a topic based on the content that we're going to be providing, as well as a learning path that we're going to be creating. So let's say in this case I am creating a learning path that is based on input devices. All right, so I go ahead and I enter that, and then having entered the topic that I am focusing on for this learning path, I can proceed to select the option that says start with your new learning path. Once I click on that, I am now on the learning path area where I can now make my changes. I am presented with a title card, and it is pointing to the first part on the learning path to indicate that this is going to be the first thing that I'm adding to, or the first item of information that I'm going to be adding to my learning path. We have a search bar, and just below that we have a drop down list that contains a number of locations where we can collect information from, and these are some websites or platforms that Symbaloo had made suggestion or collected information prior to us getting on the platform. If it is that we don't want any of the suggestion from Symbaloo, then we can just click on the option to create our very own resource, and we could use this create my own resource for all of our learning path. But I'm just going to show you the combination of having the predefined information as well as to creating our own. So let's say the first thing that I want to add is a video search, and the video search of course is going to be connected to our topic input device. All right, I click on the video search from the drop down list, and I'm presented with several videos that Symbaloo had picked out for me that is in line with the topic that I entered into the search bar. So we could scroll through to see if they are showing any video that is in line with the topic that we have selected. So in this case, let's say I realize that the second video is a good pick for me, so I could go ahead and click in the middle section here just to activate that. Once I click on that, I get a title card relating to this video. The first section gives the title of the video, as well as the second part would outline a description set. So the description set, we could provide this for our student to indicate, to say proceed to the next section to watch the video and then answer the questions that follow. So we could give a guidance to our students as to how they proceed with this. All right, so let's say proceed to next section and watch the video, after which questions will be presented, something like that. So you can structure it in the way that you want, and I do my submit the tick to indicate that I'm done with the description. When I scroll further down, I am seeing the video that I selected, so the students would then be expected to watch the video, and finally there's a section there where we can add a question tying back to that video that they just watched. All right, so we can click on that option, and then we're presented with a section where we can enter a question that we want to ask. Right, they have a variety of options of the types of questions that we can ask. So we have a single multiple choice response. We can have where it is multiple responses. It can be open answer, scale, date, and if we scroll down, we have something related to duration as well as numeric. So based on what you want to play around for the question type, you can do that. And it is advisable, I guess, for the most part, to have preferable multiple choice, because especially when it comes to the open answer, you will have to provide a type of answer that is expected to be word for word coming from the student. So it's advisable to use a multiple choice setting when you have a direct video or a direct article in the document. All right, so I select the multiple choice, and then I'm going to enter my question. So let's say I say, what input device is used for gaming? All right, and then you would give the answer. The tick here indicate that we're going to put the correct answer here. So let's say it was a joystick. All right, we can add other answers, so we have the option to add another answer. So we could say, what other names are we seeing? We're seeing touch tablet. All right, we also see a mouse. All right, and I think I'll just use the 3 options for now. So once we would have completed those, we have the tick here to indicate that we're done with this question, and it outlined that it would be 5 marks. We can make the changes further on. All right, so our question have been added to this particular learning path item, and as a result we can now save. So that indicates that we are finished, we're through with the first option, which was a video search. Let's say we want to add another item to our learning path. We can go going downward, or we can go to the right part. So wherever we're seeing the plus sign, that means that we can add another item there. I just want to follow an order in this case, so I'm going to the right. So I select the plus icon, and from here I can make another selection from the predefined list that they have. Let's say they had an article. I want to do an article search still based on the topic input devices. So once I click on that, Symbaloo will search and find some articles related to input devices. I'm just going to go ahead and click this first one automatically here, and again we get our pop-up screen. We can indicate the description. Please read article below and then answer the question that follows. All right, and then of course they would be expected to read. They will be able to see the article here, and having done that, they would now be provided with, if it is you're adding a question to that article, you can, or if it is, it's still up to you if you don't want to. Let's say I'm adding a question. Again, I'm playing it safe with the multiple choice. All right, so let's say it is asking which input device is used for typing. All right, and then of course you could give a selection. Let's say you had the mouse, right? You also had the joystick, and finally you could include the keyboard. All right, so we know that the keyboard would be the correct answer here. So what we do is to click on the X circle so that it changes to become the correct response. All right, and then we can go ahead, click on the tick to activate this question here. Following that, we're again going to save this article, and it is now added to our learning path. So now we see that there are 2 things on our learning path. We have our starting point, which had our video, our second path, which has the article, and we can go ahead to add any amount of information that we want to add to our learning path. For this purpose, I'm just going to add one final thing, and this time, instead of using the predefined list that they provide, I'm going to select the option at the bottom here that says to create my own resource. So I'm given the template similar to what we did for the other two, but this time it is blank because I'm starting from scratch. Let's say now I wanted it to be a title of a quiz, right? And then I give the description, please proceed to next section for quiz. And we could tell them to please remember to enter your correct name. All right, so they would have been provided with that instruction before they proceed to the next part. So we have our quiz, we have our quiz title, we have our description, and then we're now moving to the resource set. This part now is requiring from us a link connected to the quiz that we want our students to do. So let's say you have your particular link where you created a quiz, whether it is from an online quiz platform or it was a Google form. It is up to you where that link is coming from. All right, so let's say in my case, I'm just going to quickly locate a quizzes input device, and then I'm just randomly selecting one for this. But in your case, once you reach to that point, you ensure that you have the correct quiz that you wanted them to do. I'm expected to log in for the quizzes so that I can also register the students' information on this platform. So I'm just quickly logging in with my Google account, and then I'm just retyping what is it that I want. So it's quizzes input devices, and my search, first option here, and then I'm brought to the platform. So on the quizzes platform, in this case, we have different ways where we can share the link. If it is that you want to have all of your students doing the quiz in class, right? So you're in the class, and the only way that you want them to send their response is if you are the one to start the quiz, then you can use the instructor-led session. So even if one student read all of the two documents before they reach the quiz, and there is another student who just started the first, right? We still would have to wait on everyone before the quiz can begin once we use the instructor-led session. If we decide to use the asynchronous learning for the assigned homework, then as soon as the students get to the link, they are able to begin submissions there. All right, so in this case, I'm just using the assigned homework, and then you would change your deadline, etc. So I'm clicking the assign just to collect the link now, and I'm collecting the link here and then returning to the Symbaloo section. So in this section now where they're asking me for my link, I'm placing it there and doing my submit tick to indicate that here we're seeing the platform that we're using for the quiz loading, and we can see how is it that it's set up when the students are able to access that quiz. We don't need to add a question set because it's automatically questions included in the quiz, so we can just proceed to save. Again, we're seeing this feature added on the learning path, and of course we know that there are currently 3 things on our learning path. All right, from here we can do different things. We can proceed to preview how your students will be able to interact with this. You can make some changes as well in regards to the background image. So let's say we wanted to change the background image. I'll go to the section to the right here that says learning path theme, and I click on that, and then we're able to decide from their available themes, or we could change a background by uploading one of our own. For the essence of time, I'm just going to select one of these just to show you how the changes apply, and then we're now seeing a building in the background there. All right, having done the changes for the theme, if it is we want to do a preview now of the learning path and how the students will be able to access it later, then we can click on the little arrow here to the top right that says preview, and once we click on that, we can now see exactly what our students are going to be coming across as well. So we have the platform here, and we have a little icon just as when we would be playing a game, and then we have a little icon to move our items around, etc. This indicates that this is the starting point, right? So I could click on this, or I could just come to the bottom center here and click on start. To my left of start, we have a percentage there to indicate our progress, right, on the learning path, and to the right, this indicates that wherever we have added a question that has marks, then the marks would show over here for those students. All right, so let's say I click on the start, then we're going to begin with the first thing that was in order. The topic is there and the instruction is there for the students, so they're presented with that, and then they would know to proceed to the next section. They go, they watch the video. Once they complete the video, they now proceed to the next section, and they receive the questions that, the question that was associated with the video. So I believe that was joystick, and I checked the answer as a student, and this is what they would see, so they would continue. All right, the second thing was a Wikipedia article. Again, the description is there, the direction, so they select the next and they're seeing the Wikipedia article. Once they complete that, it is selecting the next section. If we had a question, then of course they would be expected to respond to the question and then check their answer to proceed. All right, so we continue to the final thing, which was the quiz, right? And here they would now click on the next and access the quiz right here on the platform, so they don't need to be provided with an external link. Again, everything is on the platform in one location, organized in a very user-friendly manner. So they would enter their name and click on start, and once they click the start, they expected to start the game at this point. All right, so the countdown begins, and then they will be provided, depends on how many questions. So it's 12 questions, and of course they would be expected to answer the question, and they are also timed. So they would do that little process. When they're finished with the quiz, then they would proceed to continue. And that would have completed all that we had for this learning path. So this is exactly what your students would see. All right, going back now on your platform on the Symbaloo, you did your preview to see if everything is working okay. So now you want to make the assignment to ensure now that your students are able to access this beautiful learning path that you had created. So you're clicking on the option that says assign and start tracking, right? Remember, you have to verify the email that you received earlier in order for this to work, or else you're gonna get a message to say please verify your email, the email first and then return. All right, so once we click on the assign and track, we get this pop-up, and then of course we can make the changes to give it a proper title. So this was input device activity or learning path. It's up to you what you want to call it, and that name is placed there. And of course you would want to capture the link so that you can present your students with the link. So if I copy this link, I can either click here and copy the long way, or I could just click on this to copy, or I could click on this, right, to, well, this. So I copy this, and then this is what we would provide our students with. So let's say I am attempting to use it here now in this browser. Your students would be given a prompt to enter their name. My name is showing because I'm currently logged in, but they would be expected to enter their name, and then they would be directed to the learning path. So they don't really have to sign up for an account. They would just be expected to present their correct name at that point. All right, if it is that you want to provide only your Google Classroom students from this point, you could select this, or if you just want to share this link in your Google Classroom directly, then you could also just go over there and place the link there. But at this point, your students are able to now complete that learning path and just take their own little time. If it is a homework thing or if it is a class thing, then they can follow based on the path that you tell them to select. All right, you can also track the results once the learning path has been completed by the students, and to see the progress and who were the students that actually signed in and access the work area that you provided them with. All right, so that would have been the major thing for our learning path. And of course, in order for you to see, so you see this now changed from assign and tracking to recording, because it is indicating that you're still viewing the different students that are still working on the learning path. All right, to my left here we're seeing an image of an owl. We were not seeing this previously, but because we created a path, we're now seeing the feature for that here. Right, when I click on this, it shows me my different learning paths that were created, and it also gives me option to either create new path among other things. Right, so if we wanted to see some results that were done before on a previous path that we created, then we could click on that selection. But this is where we're able to find our learning paths and then be able to check the progress, etc., etc. All right, this is where we pause for today. I hope that this was a very informative session for you guys, and then of course you will be intrigued just to try this platform in your classroom or for whatever purpose it is that you're using it for. All right, thank you guys so very much, and please subscribe, like, share. Just help us to get this out there for others to be able to access some new digital tools as well. All right, thank you guys and have a great day.